around the House, and we look forward to further action taking New Zealand closer to that goal of becoming smoke-free.
Todd McClay.
It's a pleasure to rise and speak on this bill, the Customs and Excise Tobacco Products Budget Measures Amendment Bill. And I was going to jump up and say to the last speaker that he should be ashamed of himself bringing such politics into a debate where all of the House has joined together to do the right things about New Zealanders. But I've decided not to do that, Mr. Speaker. And the reason for that is in the Select Committee we worked extremely well together on this issue. We had a number of submitters that came before us that asked the committee to do more in these areas, but easily we were able to agree what it was that this bill was trying to achieve, what it was as a committee we wanted to happen, and we're able to also agree some suggestions to government about further ways forward. You see, Mr. Speaker, the reason for this is that smoking is New Zealand's leading preventable cause of death. And if we break that down into those who smoke, of particular concern is around younger people, but Māori are disproportionately overrepresented in these statistics, and that is a real concern. An estimated 4,500 to 5,000 New Zealanders die every year due to smoking or exposure to second-hand smoke. So up to 5,000 New Zealanders who lose their life because of tobacco. And we know that half of all long-term smokers die of a smoking-related illness, losing an average of 15 years of their life. So I want to say that again, half of all long-term smokers, Mr. Speaker, losing an average of 15 years of their life and die. 650,000 New Zealanders, or 1 in every 5 people over the age of 15, continue to put their lives at risk. And now what's really concerning is that of 155,000 of these smokers are Māori. 45% of the Māori population aged 15 to 64 smoke. And now, Mr. Speaker, I agree with the last speaker in this debate that as a parliament, all parties but all New Zealanders need to focus on this, and we need to do so much more about these appalling statistics. What we heard in the committee from submitters was their concern, and we also heard from those who smoke and why they smoked, and some who wanted to give up, some that said it was their right to continue to smoke if they chose to do so. But we know that about 80% of everyone who smokes wishes they never started. And so this legislation, Mr. Speaker, an increase of 10% per year for 4 years of the price of tobacco through excise duty is as much about making people stop smoking as it is about making them never start smoking. So an interesting statistic I would like to bring to the House is around young people. Smoking among 15 to 16-year-olds fell significantly between 2006 and 2009, from 24% to about 21%. Well, that's a decrease, but 21% of people of that age still smoking is too high. The proportion of school students who smoke daily has fallen from 15.6% in 1999 to 4.1% in 2011. And that's an outstanding statistic, because the work that previous government and this government has done over the last 4 years is about saying to young people that this isn't a choice that's good for you, and price is a very important part of that. I'm a father of 4 young children, and I hope that they never smoke. I hope they never smoke. And I've got to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that at the end of this process, when the price of a cigarette is about $1, that's going to have a greater effect on young people and their habits than almost anything else that we can do at the moment. And I guarantee, go to any schoolyard and walk around and say to young people, can I have $1? Can I have $1? And you'd be hard pushed to get one from many of them. But some years ago, to say, can I have a cigarette, wasn't seen to be equated to the cost, to the amount of money that cost. And I'm sure in schoolyards around New Zealand and other situations, they were shared freely. So whilst there are people that came to the committee and said we are targeting smokers and it's unfair on them and we're putting extra burden upon them, actually we know that 80% of people wish they'd never started and they wanted to stop. And every single time the price goes up, New Zealanders are moved to seek help to stop smoking. And therefore I support this legislation, and I support it because it's going to encourage more New Zealanders not to smoke, and it's going to encourage greater numbers of younger New Zealanders not to start smoking, or at the very least not give these very expensive sticks, cancer sticks, away to others. Mr Speaker, I want to finish here, but only to say that off and on I have been a smoker for some years. This isn't one of these free-for-all declarations that the Honourable Tohineri makes in our House, and I wish him the very best with his challenge in this. But I would always say that I would give up smoking almost as easily as I started. Never made it a point to smoke in front of my family, my children, because I know that if they saw me smoking, they would grow up thinking it was okay, it would normalise it. And much of the work that this Parliament has done is to take the normality of smoking away so that it's not something that's as acceptable, it's not something that's normal. But Mr Speaker, through support, well actually it wasn't support of the government, I paid myself, but there is support available. I found these tablets called Champex that changed for me, and for a year and a half I've not gone near a cigarette, nor do I want one. So I encourage anybody who may listen or who may read this, the 4 of them out there got TV on listening to Parliament at the moment, if you're smokers, go and see your doctor. Go and ask the question, and you'd be surprised the amount of support that's there, and you won't be a statistic. You won't be a statistic. Well, you are not a statistic, Mr Speaker, but you, the people in Parliament that don't out in the real world who don't understand we can't use that word, anybody in the real world at the moment should go and talk to their doctor, seek support, because it's not as difficult as it seems, and there's a huge amount of support there for them. Mr Speaker, I thank you for the time and look forward to the committee stage where we might discuss this in greater detail. Thank you.
Honourable Mary Ann Street.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It gives me great pleasure to rise and